Hello, good evening and welcome to my humble model railway, Bedstead Junction. Now tonight we're going to have a look at a new arrival on my railway, and also we're going to talk about the Hornby Railroad range. Okay, my experience with the Hornby Railroad range is relatively limited. I've only got 3 engines, 2 of which are out on the tracks tonight for us to see. So I think we've got a fair bit to cover in the time that I want to do it all in. So what we'll do is have a look at both of these first of all. Now these are both Great Western engines. The one in the foreground is a Hall, that's Adderley Hall, that's my new arrival, and then just behind it is the 440 County Class County of Devon. Okay, I say both in the Hornby Railroad range. Now certain reviewers have been showing these on YouTube. Okay, we'll talk about people like Barry Davis and Sam's Trains have been singing the praises of either of these locomotives, and their praise has been quite justified in my experience. Now the reason why I bought Adderley Hall, I mean, I've been looking out for Adderley Hall ever since it was reviewed on Sam's Trains, and then you know, he was actually singing the praise of it. He was lucky. I think he bought his round about either previous to the lockdown or just at the beginning, and he picked his up for 60 quid brand new or thereabouts. They're getting difficult to find now. I mean, these Hornby Railroad models, they're not turning up that often on eBay anymore. And so when I saw this one here, Adderley Hall, it had to be a case of it's now or never. Now it was described as excellent and boxed okay. Now whether or not you yeah, overall it's in good condition and it runs and everything else. There were 1 or 2 issues with it when I got it, but because of the rarity of the model and because I'm pleased with it now, I'm not going to send it back to the seller. Okay, one problem could have been when it was actually been in transit. And these things sometimes happen in transit, unfortunately. And if it's something which is easily fixed, and I'll go over that in just a moment. But what we'll do first of all is we'll take a look at Adderley Hall and see how it runs, okay? I'll see if we can get focus on a nice bit of focus on it. Oh, first of all, we'll see that you can see it's in Great Western livery. Great Western green. Adderley Hall on the nameplate there. And it's a 460 mixed traffic locomotive. When you see MT after so like 7MT or 5MT, that means mixed traffic. Okay, that's a classification, and mixed traffic means exactly that these locomotives would have been expected to pull either passengers or freight. Okay, so they can be found on all kinds of duties. Now we're just going to put her into reverse now. Now let's just watch how she runs. Okay, watch how she runs. Okay, now you can see slow running there, perfect. Okay, you can't really fault that. Perfect control, and it's one of the reasons why these locomotives have come under such praise, really. And we'll talk about the railroad range and what it is, because some of you would see the railroad range and the railways range, and you might not be familiar with the 2 different ranges. Okay, so we just put her into 4 gear. I'll try not to kick the tripod over. I did have one little mishap, which would have been amusing if you would have filmed it, but I had a steel chair collapse underneath me earlier on, a steel folding stool. Which is a cool reminder, actually, I need to lose some weight. But anyway, that's a different subject. Well, which I'll go back into, I'm sat here safely now on something a bit more substantial, and we're going to get ready for our running session. Okay, so away we go. Adderley Hall, Hornby Railroad. Okay, so we're ready to move. Now you see how well she pulls from slow speed over those points. Over those points there, relatively slow speed. Okay. So it's able to really get good control over the locomotive. Nice quiet runner, okay. Now if anybody's wondering about the railroad range, what it means you're going to get a slightly less detailed model, okay, missing what some people may regard as premium features, but some of you may think, well, you could have managed without in order to get a model of your choice. Now, also, one thing which I'll talk about as well about this railroad range is that these models are very much more durable. Okay, certain things you'll find have been details might be moulded on, like the darts. Okay, and also you're not going to get a fully detailed cab on a Hornby railroad range. But if you're not worried about those things, then you could be onto a real winner. Okay. Now I've had to take the body off this locomotive. I'll explain to you I'll explain to you everything once I've got this one on the Lazy Susan for you. So I'm going to take it off and we'll have a closer look at it at Adderley Hall. Now, just want to show you how it came. And this is the standard railroad packaging, okay? So to give you some idea what to expect if you were to get it. Now, they come in foam, okay? Foam packaging very often. Now, some people have moaned about things arriving in foam. I'd rather have it in foam. I've had models arrive in, more models arrive intact in foam than I've had arrive intact inside the block of ice packaging, okay? And that's a fair assessment. That basically goes over the locomotive you just saw there, and that's just like a mini block of ice. And then the actual railroad box, you can see it's clearly got the Hornby Railroad branding there. DCC ready. And if you're looking for Adderley Hall, you're looking for our 3170 GWR class 4900 Adderley Hall 4901. Now you get no history, and you will get fairly basic instructions. Okay, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit so we can get. There we are. Zoom way out and get that's much better. You can see it clearly now. Okay, so you're going to get basic instructions like running hints, what to do if it won't go, stuff like that. Where to oil it. You see all it in red there. Lubrication. Body removal, something I had to do. I wanted to have a look inside, see what the motor looked like. If you wanted to fit DCC, that looks relatively straightforward. On my layout here is DC. DCC is digital command control. For those who are less familiar, I've been doing modelling since railway modelling since 1990, on and off, and I started with DC, and is what I'm happy using, to be honest with you. So, you know, I find it all right. Now you see, this is a very, very nice runner. It really is. Now, what I'm going to talk about, because there's a couple of items I had to rectify on this particular model, okay, there are one or two things which I'll say you need to check before you actually run the model, okay. Now this one was described as being in excellent condition, okay, and it was up to a certain extent, as long as you didn't mind pet hairs being in the mechanism, okay. Unfortunately, it indicates to me that this model had been played with, okay. Whoever was the previous owner probably ran this on carpet. And if that's where you run, that's where the only place you want to run it, fine. I mean, people say, well, don't do it, and I managed to pull the you know, the fluff out of the mechanism with a pair of tweezers. It didn't take me very, very long, and I always check if the model's been oiled, but judging by the amount of oil that was on it already, it looks like it's been well oiled. Okay, so no problem with lubrication. and you probably observe as it's going round a very smooth, nice runner. Okay. Now, what I would say is to anybody watching this who are model rowing manufacturers or involved in model rowing manufacturing, this is how it should be done. Okay. A first class motor, good mechanism. You don't get turned metal bearings for the wheel axles. Okay. You get sort of the axles sit in the chassis. Okay. It's basically but that's something which you get on the Star class, and I've been used to that on models for years anyway. And I've never had too much trouble, to be honest with you. And so I think as long as you keep everything well lubricated, you should be all right. That is my opinion anyway. And as you see, it's going around really, really nice. The motor and the gears and everything else perfect. The gearing's perfect as well. I mean, I'm running this on a speed of about, well, 60. I'm running it quite fast now. If you turn it down to 50, that's probably what a lot of people would say is probably realistic, if you go around their layout. But I thought you'd let you see it running it at speed, so to speak. Very, very, very nice. Very nice model. I'm glad I got it. They're quite rare. I mean, they should be common. They should be easy to find, but I find this almost impossible. If I was looking at the wrong day, the wrong time, I just don't know. But when I saw this appear for 80 quid on eBay, I just jumped at it and got it and thought, well, no, there's no point hesitating. And I would say, look at your model if what you're interested in. If you see loads of them advertised on eBay, then obviously you can pick and choose, and you probably wouldn't mind missing one if it was on auction. I missed a beautiful Somerset in Dorset 7F in Somerset in Dorset colours, the limited edition, and I missed out on that one because I didn't realise that the auction ended at 8:30 in the morning instead of 8:30 in the evening, and I kicked myself about not getting that one. So now I saw this one, like I say, and I bought it. In fact, we're going to look now, just out of curiosity. I don't really often do this. Yes. Looking through what's available on eBay, yes, you can get a whole class, but this particular, the nearest you're going to get, and I paid 80 quid, okay, for Adderley Hall in Great Western Green livery. There's an example. I don't know if they're going to get this. There's the Harry Potter Alton Hall. That's in crimson. So that would have been for the Harry Potter thing, I would have thought. Okay. Immaculate box. They want 135 quid. That's the only Hornby Railroad Hall I can see actually on the internet tonight. Plenty of Kneller halls and that sort of thing. That's your earlier trying ones, which they're fine. But the Hornby Railroad halls, they're not easy to find. And neither are these counties in either 440 or 460 in Hornby Railroad, guys. I think people have got to hear how good they are, and when they see one, they'll get it. Now, we're going to stop this model in just a moment, and we're going to put you onto the Lazy Susans, and we can have a good look at her, more or less close up and personal. Okay, so you just need to excuse me. You can watch this one going whizzing round. Let's see if you can see it going through the station opposite there. Its speed. There are passengers waiting there opposite for a local service maybe, and then watching our whole class putting in express. These were very often asked to deputise on express express services, and they did very, very well. I mean, when they were asked to fulfil that particular duty, express passenger, they would have often had to have stood in for a castle. okay, or even the King, and yet they were still able to run well and keep time. Very, very nice locomotives, the whole class. Bit like, I mean, if you're Midland Railway, the equivalent will probably be the Black 5. Okay, a numerous mixed traffic engine too. Okay, so what I do then, while she's going round, we can watch her going round there. So we're going to go and fetch our Lazy Susan. We'll have a nice little look at this one close up. Right, you probably see me pop this down. Let's wait for the train to go by. We'll stop her in the station and we'll put the Lazy Susan down. Okay, so you watch how good she is with popping into the station. There we are, perfect. Okay, there's Lazy Susan. We'll get the decoupler. And I'm going to talk to you about something to watch when you buy this locomotive, and really any locomotive off of, if you're buying it second hand from eBay or anywhere like that. And it's a fault I've never, it's not really, it was something which happened on this particular one. I've never seen it happen before, okay, on this particular kind of locomotive. Certainly didn't happen to any of the reviewers. Let's have a look and just see now. We'll just see if we can uncouple this. Come on, uncouple. There we are. There are. Something won't uncouple. It's probably going to happen when you're filming. All part of the fun of live video. Here we go. Let's push those back and then we'll have a get on to Lazy Susan. There we are. Now we can have a nice look at Adderley Hall, Hornby Railroad class. And what do you get and don't get when you get a Hornby Railroad class? If the experience of Adderley Hall, and our 440 county over there is anything to go by, you're going to get a locomotive with a really decent motor in it, nice runner and everything. Okay, see the nameplate there, Adderley Hall, looks very, very nice too. Great Western, and it's even got the crest in the middle there. It's got a nice lining around the cab. It might mean something. So I think sometimes these are picked out in sort of like a goldy kind colour, but that's happened on some other models. But you'll see, you didn't get that there, but that's not too much of a problem, is it? We've got the glazed windows on the cab. You got your brass safety valve cone there. Your whistles. The whistles, I don't know if they're metal or not. I mean, they look good enough to me. And you've got a representation there of the copper chimney as well. Altogether, a very nice model. $4901. So you've got the number on the buffer. You've also got the vacuum pipe fixed on there, and from what people have said, it's fixed in the right position too. Now I don't know whether that came pre-fitted when it was sold as new, but when I received it, that was actually been fitted. You don't get sprung buffers, okay? But to be honest with you, I mean, the majority of us, I mean, unless you're really closely coupling these trains to such an extent you won't even go around the layout, you probably won't really worry too much about sprung buffers, not in a practical sense anyway. You might not be able to see it there because it's quite dark, but you've got a moulded on darts there, your little handles there for that opening and closing the smoke box, you know, fastening that. That's moulded on rather than a separately fitted part. Now, some of you might regard, if you've ever had one of these darts fall off or received an engine with one falling off in the box, like I did, you might think that really in some circumstances a moulded on darts is an asset rather than a deficit, okay? It'd be a plus rather than a minus. And in life's all about pluses and minuses, isn't it? I mean, I find it is. I mean, you know, what is your glass half empty or half full? Mine's half full. Okay, now on this view, we've got the side view of her again, Adderley Hall. Really nice sound, look at that, beautiful. I think, I can't get close enough to see. If that's not metal, it's definitely so convincing to me. It looks like that's metal. The reversing rod. Okay. Wheels are nicely represented. The motion. Now this is where I had a problem, okay. When this arrived in the box, and I think it was on this side actually, but I don't suppose it matters too much for the story purposes. This bit of valve gear here, the actual runner, where the crosshead runs in, that's on a piece of plastic that clips into the cylinder cover there. It popped out. Okay, now that could have happened in transit. Okay, so we're not going to hold that against the seller or anything like that. Could have happened in transit. Okay, now what I did in the end, what I had to do was to I wanted to remove the body anyway, so I removed the body. Okay, and I was able to put everything back together again quite easily. I dropped a super glue just to make sure it stayed in there and didn't come out again. And as you can see, it's running absolutely fine. So no problem with there. Again, another point to watch on these, and I think it's popped out there. There's a little metal pin clips into the body, and that can sometimes pop out. But I don't think it's vital to the running of the loco. No, I think mine's gone back in. No, that's good. No, mine is in there. That's good. You find these on the mainline manners as well, and it's like a little tiny pin just above the valve gear, clips onto the body. It's that one right down there at the top. Okay, see it there? Okay, so make sure that's clipped on all right. You see lovely lining on it. Got your number on there. Again, the Great Western Crest, all nicely represented. Colo don't look bad. That looks fine to me. The cab is completely black. There is details in there, okay, but for the kind of price that the original Hornby Railroad models are going for, okay, I mean, in general, I think the recommended retail price was about 80 quid, I think, if I remember rightly. And if you can pick one up now for 80 quid, just press buy. I mean, check the condition, check the description, look at the photos. If you're happy, if you want one, don't hesitate. Click buy. Don't miss out. Okay, that is just my opinion. Okay, you got your little levers there for the tender controls. I think one of those was slightly damaged on my example. Might be, I don't know. I mean, it's again on a model that's been played with. I'm not going to worry too much about that. It's just that one over there, just slightly. I can repair that actually, and I can get that done. You got your colo there, quite well represented. Your filler. Then on the back of the tender there, because it's not black, you can see again the vacuum pipe fixed. The hooks in the middle of the buffer. You got a NEM clip-on coupling. Some of you might want to change that for a bigger D-type coupling, and you might want to do that on some of your coaches. I've done it on some of mine, some of my locos. But that's just something you might want to consider. And you can see there, I think that there, just a tiny little things come off there. I think. Well, I'm not going to worry about that too much. Don't affect the running of the loco. Like I said, I could probably find I've repaired those before in the past, even though it was minute. And if I decide to fix that, I can. Okay, it's one of the things you don't notice. But really, altogether, very, very pleased with it. Okay, so what I would do, if you pick one of these up second hand, like I say, have a good look at it first before you run it on the layouts, okay? Look it over, make sure your all your crank pins are attached and everything else. And for me, I mean, the valve gear popped out, okay? And I tried to run it. Like I say, it might come loose. It might come loose in transit. I don't know. But like I say, I dropped a glue, popped it back in again. I was backing up and running inside 5 minutes, so not a problem for me. Okay, and I think that's quite a rare occurrence. I don't think you'll find that happening. Right down there, let's see. That popped out there. Your crossheads and everything. But it stayed in one piece. That was one good thing about it. I didn't have a lot of complicated reassembly. It just all popped back together again. Pet hair as well. I mean, the previous owner may have run it on a carpet, and if that's the only place they can run it, fine. I mean, you know, they couldn't help that. I mean, at the end of the day, these Hornby Railroad models, and I say like most models, I mean, I like the modding aspects of things, I like the detail aspects of things, but at the end of the day, if we were to admit the truth, I'm a 64-year-old man playing at trains, okay? And I'm playing on my big little model railway and watching my trains go round, okay? And I'm playing. And these are meant to be played with, okay? And very often these would have been probably given to children as a present, okay? So a few hairs in the mechanism, not a problem. Just pick out with tweezers carefully. Give it a good brush over and away you go. I mean, now this is, I would call this locomotive pristine, okay, now that I've got this, those few little issues fixed, okay. Beautiful. Now we're coming towards the end of my little talk about this model. And we're going to put it back onto the track and just watch her run for a few minutes. Now, a couple of items I would advocate you buy, okay, and we'll discuss that when we've got her back onto the tracks. Let's do that over there, so we can stay in focus. I'm going to run out of the half-hour time on my camera. I don't want to have to put like joint splice bits together on my editing software because it takes ages to render, and you'll be probably seeing this next week rather than well, probably it takes hours to render, let's say. So right, so here she is, Adderley Hall, onto the thing. I'll couple her up like that. I mean, that's nice enough there. Now, if you're a model railwayer like me, and whether you're a beginner or someone who's a beginner or a seasoned professional or whatever, you consider yourself a seasoned modeler, don't put yourself above buying yourself a railing ramp, okay? That has made my life a lot easier, okay? Save an awful lot of fiddliness trying to get carriages and things onto the track. I know other people say, well, they can manage without one, but I would say make it easier on yourself. And also, some might say, oh, there's a lot of money to pay for a bit of foam, but a servicing cradle, that would save me ages of frustration. The Pico PL70 servicing cradle. Okay, so let's bring her forward then and see watch her go. Watch her go around the layout. Absolutely superb, okay? If you see this particular one, Hornby Railroad, Hall Class, the price looks right, the condition looks right, look at the photos, you'll get yourself a beautiful locomotive. Really nice runner, beautiful. Okay, now it could be like one or two other the reviewers, and quite rightly so. I could be here talking about this locomotive all night, okay? I'm going to leave it here now. If you enjoyed watching this video, press the like button, subscribe, and ring that bell to be alerted of more videos. I shall bid you farewell and good evening. I'm going to try and get this out tonight for you, okay? So, thank you very much. I'll bid you farewell and goodbye.